to another episode of The Get Go, the mentorship program that takes you from an idea to a real-life business. Today, I'll be giving you a first tip to check that your business idea is the right idea. Because we don't want you to spend time and money and energy doing something you're not even sure of. We want to do business, but we want to do it the smart way. So, how does one know that they've got the right business idea? Well, to start, a disclaimer. You actually never know for sure until you gave it a try. I know it's a bit of a bind, but there are ways to get started without investing too much and just go as a test. I'll talk about this a little bit later. So, I'm not going to give you a magical way to know for sure that your business idea is right and will be a soaring success. And actually, in all transparency, 90% of first-time entrepreneurs fail. This is the game. You better be okay with the statistic before you start playing. This is actually a really good way to first check that your idea is the right idea. If the perspective of failing, or let's rephrase it, of having to go through several trials before your business grows and achieves the level of success you want, if this perspective makes you already want to throw the towel, then I invite you to honestly reconsider if entrepreneurship is truly what you want. However, if you're still with me on this, ready to go, ready to fall, ready to learn, then keep on watching. I've got some good stuff for you. So, you never know if your business will succeed straight after you launch it or years after you launch it. However, I can give you ways to minimize risks before you get started. There are a few checks you can run that will help you cover the fundamentals. Today, we're going to cover a first one, which is demand. So demand is you asking this question. Is there a demand for my product and service? Which makes sense, right? Is there a market out there that will be willing and able to pay and buy from you? Here are a few ways for you to answer that question, 4 of them. The first one, ask people you know if they would buy your product and how much they would pay for it. That makes sense, your family and friends, ask them. The second one, ask people you don't know if they'd be interested to buy your service or products. Friends and family can be positively biased, they want to encourage you, so go ask strangers. The best places to find the people you want to target are communities, either online or offline. Let's say you're targeted stay-at-home moms in their 40s in Norway. If you live in Norway, find meetups with this target group and attend them. Or ask your colleague's wife and her friends. Why not even organize a small research session in a coffee shop or at your house and gather 5 of them and ask them all the questions you have. You would be surprised. This kind of conversations will give you so many gems of insight about your product and your targeted group or your target group. If you decide to go online, communities on Facebook and LinkedIn are wonderful for this. And you can also ask your questions on websites such as Quora. The third way is have a look at the current offering. If the market already exists, have a look at the players out there. How does their offer look like? How successful are they? This will give you an idea of what's already out there and what's already working well. That's great. However, about this one, I'm always super cautious of looking at what others do, but never letting myself copy what they do. You can be inspired by marketing strategies successful people use, that's great, but copying their branding, their idea, their delivery, their communication is never a good idea. You want to build a business to express yourself, not to be a copycat. That's boring. Okay, third way. Read market studies. Consulting companies and trend watch agencies are perfect places to get solid numbers about your potential markets. Coming back to the target market we're talking about, the 40 years old stay-at-home moms in Norway. I am certain you can find a study about this demographic, their consumption behavior, their behavior with social media, their consumption of content, their average spend per category of products. That's perfect for you. Just Google that. I like to have a look at what consulting firms like KPMG or McKinsey write, and my favorite trend watch agency is called Nelly Rodi. So, for those of you who want to ask, but what if there's no demand for my business, Unia? I will say that happens. Here's an example. When Steve Jobs came up with the iPod, People didn't even know what this thing was. It disrupted music consumption behavior so much that truly there was no demand for the product itself. People just accepted what was available at that time, those big chunky disc readers. There wasn't even a specific and clearly formulated demand for what the product did. People didn't just go to jobs and said, hey, you know what, Steve? We would love a small object with a steering wheel kind of thing, where I could store all of my music and it would all fit in my pocket. However, when Steve presented the iPod in his keynote back in 2001, people were wowed. And that's because a product they have never seen before, never even asked for, was actually solving their current problems with digital music. So, even if your product is ultra disruptive, high-tech, super new, something we've never seen or used before, this doesn't mean it doesn't have a market to serve. Even if when you present your product or service to people, they don't really understand it, it doesn't mean you should give up on it. There will be, of course, some education to be done with your target group, but to find your market, you just have to focus really on two questions. The first one is, does my product or service solve a current problem within a specific targeted group of people? And the second one is, would these people pay for a solution? That's really all you need to identify your markets. Now, the other situation you could have would be if you presented your product and service to people and there's no positive reaction, there's no interest. This could mean there isn't a market for your business idea, yes, but before you give up on it, and I'm an optimistic, I invite you to do two things. First one, check that you're talking to the right people. In other words, is there another type of people that would be interested in your idea? Just another target market. And the second thing you would do is, before you discard the idea, can it be fixed with a few tweaks? Ask your target market candidly, would there be changes to this idea that would make it interesting to you? You would be surprised how people want to help. So, checking demand is the first way to test your idea without leaving your job, without spending a single penny, and a great way to minimize risk before taking the big leap. If you have questions about this part, I am here to help. Just DM me on my Instagram at @boomwonders. I'll be covering the other ways to check your business idea. There are other ways in the next blog post over the next few weeks. If you, my friend, are ready to go with your business checks and don't want to wait for the next blogs, you will be happy with this. I actually share an entire business check module for free. I've left the link in the description of this video, so just go and click that to download it. Get your copy and don't waste any other time or any other minutes. Just get started. And if you still have questions while doing this, again, I'm just one message away. DM me on Instagram. Happy to help. I have more resources actually to support people like you in their journey, like a list of questions you could ask to your target market and things like that. If you're interested in taking the Get-Go, the mentorship program to get you going with your business idea, let's chat. You can book a discovery call with me by clicking on the second link I've left in the description of the video. And in the meantime, thank you for watching and keep on rocking.